So Invisible was a bit of an accident. It wasn't a song that I had planned to write, necessarily. I've probably always struggled with anxiety and depression, but it didn't really turn into a problem until I was about 17, 18 when I was doing my A-levels. And then it hit me like a train. I barely got through my A-levels, scraped through, tried to do a music course, dropped out of that because I was too anxious to leave the house. And I had a year of suffocating depression, and me and my mum, who's my hero because she has never given up on me, she's never settled for any of this. She's always believed it can be better. And we spoke to doctor after doctor after doctor, and they either didn't listen at all, or they dismissed me and said that it was nothing, or that there wasn't anything they could do. One even told us that maybe this is just how my life is going to be. I'm still dealing with that all these years later, and it was traumatic, it was invalidating, it was unbearably difficult. Then, I found someone who listened. Took a lot of work, took a lot of convincing, but I found people who listened to me and believed me, and that is the most important thing in the world. I don't think there's anything more important. To have someone listen to you and believe you when you say that you're struggling. For those of you who don't know, I went to university to study songwriting, and one of the things that was part of the community, I guess, was monthly songwriters circles, and I loved going to them, I loved playing them when I got the opportunity. And in my third year I got picked to play, and I was so excited because the special guest was Lauren Aquilina, and I've listened to her music since I was a teenager, so I was so excited. And then they say to me, there's also a brief, you've got to write a song for the round, and that brief is a protest song. And I panicked, I full on panicked, because I've never written a protest song. I was convinced I was going to hate it because it was coming out, I had to write it so quickly and then play it for lots of people before I was even sure I liked it, and I was convinced it was going to be a disaster. The idea of writing a song with a good song, a song that I was proud enough of to play in front of lots of people, the idea of writing that in maybe a month was terrifying. I was terrified. And I didn't know what to write about. I'd never written a protest song. So I talked to everyone I knew, my tutors, my friends, my parents, my family, and they all said, write about mental health. It's what you've been wanting to write about, and you just haven't done it yet. And that was true. I had been wanting to write about it. It's this huge, overwhelming part of my life. It's a big part of my history. It's a big part of my story. I wanted to write about it, but I wanted it to come naturally and authentically. I didn't want to force it. So I was writing other songs and letting it decide what it wanted to be. But suddenly the pressure was on. And so I went to my most trusted co-writer, who is my best friend Richard Sanderson. we ended up writing the song together, and we talked through it, and we probably wrote it in about 3 hours. It was hard. It was hard work. I found it very difficult. It was very painful. It's hard stuff to write about. I felt like I was dragging it out of myself, and Richard was so patient and just sat beside me and said, just keep going, keep going, keep going. Every time I said, oh my God, is this too honest? He said, no, keep going, keep going. And so I did, and he helped me turn that honesty into a song. And it's a song I'm so proud of. It's my story up until now, and I didn't know if I'd ever play it again after the round. It felt so honest. Yeah, I didn't know if I could put that out in the world. After we wrote it, we played it for the class at uni, and they were all incredibly supportive, so supportive that I cried. It meant so much to me. We made a few tweaks, but then it was time for the Songwriters Circle, which is a lot more people. I was terrified. And then, just to make matters worse, a few days before, I tripped in the street and cracked a rib, which was very painful. Up until the Songwriters Circle, I was very focused on what the song meant to me. You know, it was about my experience. It's a very personal song, but then I played it, and I suddenly had all these people come up to me and tell me that they related to it, that they related to what I said, that they had similar experiences, and that what I was saying meant something to them, and that blows me away every time it happens. To me, that song was about being seen and being heard, and if it helps other people feel that way, that's all I could ever want for that song.